Carlos Slim's Museum in Mexico. Are you the kind of person that just loves to visit museums and could spend all day inside looking at souvenirs from history? Well, it doesn't matter, because you could not be a huge fan of history, but this place would still make you want to go inside and have a look. Today we have the opportunity to look inside Carlos Slim's museum in Mexico City. The museum is called the Museo Soumaya, named after the late wife of Carlos Slim, and it was built back in 2011. If you recognize the name Frank Gehry, then this building kind of looks like his architecture, meaning the building may give off an unusual and fragmented appearance, but it looks fantastic. So let's begin the video. The man who set up this marvelous piece of architecture is Carlos Slim, who is worth more than $40 billion, making him the richest person in Mexico and amongst the top 25 richest people in the world. The building's architecture was actually designed by the son-in-law of Carlos, Fernando Romero. The structure does not contain a single window and is completely built out of metal. There are a total of 6 stories, and the building is sort of shaped like an hourglass. The museum became a landmark in the capital of Mexico as soon as it was opened to the public, attracting tourists and mass public commendation for bringing new colors to the city. But as with every good thing, this too was not without negative comments from critics. They argued that the building resembled a bit too much with the Guggenheim, built in Spain by Frank Gehry, while also criticizing Carlos, saying that he is more of a businessman than a person who knows about history. But hey, can you name one thing that didn't get criticized by anyone? Exactly. The museum is dominated by ancient works from both European and Mexican history. Let's take a tour inside then, shall we? As you walk inside the building, the main lobby is open from above and is mostly dominated by a bronze statue of the Thinker. You will also notice a rather colorful mural pointing towards the washrooms, made by Diego Rivera. The special thing about that mural is that it was actually the last mural of Diego Rivera. There are more than 65,000 pieces of work inside, most of which were created by European artists. Some more noticeable names include Picasso, Van Gogh, and Matisse. The works by these artists are understandably given a lot of importance, as it can be quite difficult to be able to see these works of art anywhere else in Latin America. An entirely separate section is set aside for religious art. Some pieces that stand out within that category have to include the Mexican portrait of the Virgin of Guadalupe and the Virgin of Toledo. The museum aims to eventually become a cultural icon in the capital of Mexico, to be able to present a completely different side of the city. The director of the museum, named Miranda Marquez, actually had some interesting thoughts about this very topic. He said that a person who enters Mexico would know that we have problems with violence, pollution, and whatnot. But that does not mean that the people of Mexico cannot enjoy life and enjoy fine art in their place. Entering the 3rd floor of the museum, you will see paintings created by a follower of Leonardo da Vinci. Just in case you don't know, Da Vinci was the famous artist who created the quite popular painting of the Mona Lisa. To have these paintings created by a close follower of Da Vinci in Latin America is something special and exciting, to say the least. One painting depicts work by Joe Vasari, who was, you can say, the most important historian from the Renaissance era. The interesting part here is that while buying this painting, the museum had no idea it was created by Vasari, and they only bought it considering it a painting by some Italian artist. But after the museum conducted its research into the work, which took several years, they found out that the painting was done with oil on limestone. They also found out it belonged to the Constance of the Medici, who paid 20 ducats to Vasari for it. Quite amazing, isn't it? Another marvelous thing is the theater that was made in the 19th century. The theater itself was quite a huge challenge, as it was essentially a cast of the original one, which is located in the Vatican Museum, which is made of marble. Unlike the original, this one is made completely out of bronze. Experts say that the difference between the original one and the one located in this museum in Mexico is about 0.001%. A difference of such low magnitude cannot even be viewed and noticed by the naked eye. Whether you observe the bone structure, the shape, or the size, you will find it exactly the same as the original. The difference only arises because there was minor damage done to the nose of the theater. Rest assured, everything else is the same. There is also a cast of Michelangelo's Pieta on display in the museum. The original one is located in the Vatican City as well, symbolizing the beauty of the Renaissance era and combining it with the idea of naturalism. The cast in the Soumaya Museum, however, is made out of bronze, unlike the original one, which is made out of white marble. Now, this attribute may seem attractive to many people, such as the owner himself. However, it was heavily criticized by James Oles, a professor of art history who visited the museum. The professor considered it absurd that they thought of making the Pieta out of bronze was a good idea. He said that not only did the cast not do justice to Michelangelo's Pieta, but it was not even fit to be placed inside a museum. It would be rather safe to say that this place attracted more criticism from the public and some historians than any other museums. According to Oles, the museum is mostly filled with mediocre pieces of art, which means that Mexico has now lost the opportunity to construct a museum that contains art parallel to the world-famous works around the globe. The criticism is originated from the allegation that Silvio treated this endeavor like any other business, by bargaining. According to critics, trying to get a deal on supposedly important artifacts for a museum killed the opportunity for the place to have more worth than it currently has. Whether you side with the critics or not, it is worth mentioning that one of the richest people on the planet has set up this museum for his fellow countrymen and does not charge a single dollar for the tourists to come and visit. That alone says a lot about the significance of the museum and the finer intentions of Silvio himself. That is all for today, folks. We hope you enjoyed peeking into billionaire Carlos Slim's museum in Mexico, the Soumaya Museum of Mexico. Please show your support by hitting that like button, and in case you haven't already, do subscribe to our channel for similar videos. Thank you for watching, and see you on the next video.